This is the Late Round Podcast with your host, JJ Zacharisa.
What's up, everyone? It's JJ Zacharisa, and in this episode 872 of the Late Round Fantasy Football Podcast, sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Thanks for tuning in. I say it all the time, but when it comes to Dynasty Fantasy Football, you're really playing two games. You're playing the production game, and you're playing the value game. Simultaneously, you're trying to achieve two goals. On one hand, you want to win a championship. You need production. You need to play that game. On the other hand, you really need to accumulate value. And by value, I mean the overall worth of your team based on what the market is doing. Based on what you could hypothetically get in return in a trade. Production's good and all, but if that production's only coming from old players who are past their peak, you're in trouble. Achieving those things at the same time, it's not just how you win championships, but it's how you build powerhouses. It's how you win year in and year out. When we make selections in our rookie drafts, we're obviously concerned with how that player is going to perform. And that performance has a strong tie to player value, right? If someone does really well during their rookie season, that player is probably going to see a nice boost in value. But it's not always that clean. Most of the time, players have okay enough rookie seasons. And those okay enough rookie seasons lead to wildly different evaluations from one fantasy manager to the next. Just look at, Will Levis right now. One person might believe that he's a true franchise quarterback. Another might be thinking that he's going to lose his job in week 7 because there were some things that you might have liked from his rookie season and there were some things that you might have not liked. With all that being said, the market generally moves in certain directions when it comes to year 2 players, or players who finish up their rookie season and are heading into year 2. And as a result of that, we can approach our rookie drafts in a very specific way. Now, I've done an episode like this in the past where I looked at how rookies appreciate in value just in general. I didn't do that much on the quarterback position, though. And with this year's draft class looking the way that it's looking, I thought focusing on the position might be helpful. So that's what I did. I looked at and analyzed how rookie quarterbacks appreciate in dynasty value from year 1 to year 2 of their NFL careers. Now, before digging into the study, don't forget to check out Underdog Fantasy. I've been drafting over there over the last month or so, and it's giving me a nice early prep on the fantasy football season. I've got tons of slow best ball drafts going on at all times where I've got an 8-hour clock with each pick. If you haven't played best ball before, the idea is simple. You draft a fantasy football team, and you can do it in minutes. There are no waivers, there's no trades, there's no lineup setting. Your team is optimized for you in season based on how players perform. Drafts are happening right now over there, and you can use the information that I share on here or in my prospect guide to help you draft. If you're new to Underdog and you want to check it out, make sure you use promo code LATEROUND when you sign up, and you'll get a deposit match up to $100. That's promo code LATEROUND. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app to sign up. One of the reasons I'm interested in sharing information on this rookie quarterback topic is because I don't have a quarterback model. So understanding how these guys appreciate in value from one year to the next, it's super helpful when trying to tell you who to draft. Another reason I'm kind of interested in this topic, though, is because of Jaden Daniels. It seems like his evaluation is all over the place right now. If you look at certain data points, he definitely seems to fall into the wrong buckets. He's not great at avoiding sacks when pressured, and he's an older prospect too. On the flip side, his 2023 was ridiculous, and he can make things happen with his legs. But knowing that it's a relatively volatile profile, wouldn't it be nice to know what would happen to his dynasty value if he really tanked in year 1? Well, let's look at history. I use Dynasty League Football's rookie draft and startup ADP to help me out with this exercise. Their data doesn't go back to 2011 like most data that I work with does. Instead, I'm going to be looking at all quarterback draft classes since 2018. That gives us 6 classes to work off of. I wish the sample was bigger, but this kind of data isn't everywhere. In order to find out how rookie quarterbacks appreciate in value, I first looked at all rookie quarterbacks who were selected in rookie drafts over this time frame. And that led to 40 passers. That's according to the data. So this data set that spans 6 years has 40 quarterbacks in it, giving us 6 to 7 quarterbacks taken in rookie drafts each year. From there, I associated each of these rookie quarterbacks with their startup ADP in Superflex leagues. And that's their startup ADP before their rookie season. And for the record, I'm looking at Superflex leagues here because it's going to give us more detail about how a player changed in value from year 1 to year 2. Most people care about this kind of thing for Superflex leagues anyway, because rookie quarterbacks matter a whole lot less in single quarterback formats. So again, we've got 40 rookie quarterbacks in our sample. Those guys were selected in rookie drafts since 2018. And of those 40, all but Dorian Thompson-Robinson had some sort of startup ADP heading into their rookie season. That ranged from Trevor Lawrence going 11th overall in startups during May prior to his rookie season, all the way to someone like Jarrett Stidham going 217th overall. There's a very simple question that I'm really asking here. What happened to those 40 rookie quarterback startup ADPs after their rookie seasons were over? And the answer, it's kind of shocking. Like I said, 39 of the 40 had some sort of startup ADP in year 1. Of those 39, we saw 19 lose value in startup drafts from their rookie season to their second season. Only 51% of these rookie quarterbacks saw a jump in their Superflex startup ADP from year 1 to year 2. That's a relatively binary way of looking at things, and I'm using the word only as a descriptor because we have to remember that young players will generally hold value better than older ones. Knowing that about half of rookie quarterbacks saw a drop in ADP from year 1 to year 2, that may not make you feel overly optimistic about drafting one in a rookie draft. Here's the thing though, 12 of those quarterbacks who dropped in value, they were nearly valueless to begin with. We're talking Malik Willis, Jacob Eason, Stetson Bennett, those types of players. So of the 12 quarterbacks that dropped in value, their startup ADPs were 121st or later. So they weren't looked at very highly to begin with. The remaining 7 rookie quarterbacks who saw their value drop were not in the same boat. They were in no particular order: Trey Lance, Will Levis, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Rosen, Dwayne Haskins, and Bryce Young. And rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. So just 7 of the 19 quarterbacks who saw a drop in ADP actually had top 100 startup ADPs as rookies. The other guys were kind of valueless to begin with. And the thing is, a lot of those quarterbacks didn't see a dramatic shift in value. And this is really, really important. Justin Fields, for example, went from the 23rd overall pick to the 32nd overall one. He didn't just disappear. Trey Lance went from being the 20th overall pick in Superflex startups as a rookie to the 24th overall one as a second-year player. If you simply categorize players as maintained value versus didn't maintain value, and you judge maintaining value by staying within 1 round or 12 picks year over year, you get totally different results. Like, let's consider Justin Fields. After his rookie season, he was still a 3rd-round startup pick in Superflex drafts. If we consider someone like that in the maintain value bucket, then things look really, really good for these rookie quarterbacks. All of a sudden, of our 39 rookie quarterbacks who had startup ADPs as rookies, 15 were unable to maintain value. But of those 15, only Bryce Young had an average draft position higher than 77 in startups. That's as a rookie. The only other players who failed to maintain value while having moderately high ADPs as rookies, and I'm talking like 7th round picks, were Josh Rosen and Dwayne Haskins. That was back in the day when people weren't roster constructing the way they are today. To put this all another way, you guys, in our sample, which yes, it's a bit limited, but in our limited sample, 16 of the 19 quarterbacks who had top 100 Superflex startup ADPs as rookies ended up maintaining value. Those 16 either improved on their ADP or they saw it drop by less than a round. And this gets even better when the players performed at a high level as rookies. In our sample, 9 quarterbacks scored 16 or more standard fantasy points per game as first-year players. Of those 9, 7 played double-digit games. So Sam Howell, Anthony Richardson, they get tossed out of the sample because they didn't play that much. Those 7 quarterbacks who performed well as rookies were Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Daniel Jones. Herbert went from an ADP of 89 as a rookie to 7 as a second-year player. CJ Stroud was at 21, and now he's at 6. Kyler Murray, 42 to 7. Josh Allen, he was at 123. People forget how much the dynasty community hated him. But he went from 123 to 58th. Baker Mayfield was 75th overall in startup drafts, and that rose to 14 after his rookie season. Daniel Jones went from 122nd to 53rd. Now, I know some of those ADPs seem insane because in today's dynasty landscape, rookie quarterbacks who go in the top 10, the top 15 of the NFL draft, they're bound to have higher startup costs. Managers are sharper. They understand the value of the position in superflex leagues. Even still, I think the general thing that's pretty glaring here is that if a rookie quarterback has a pretty good season in points per game, you can almost guarantee that he's going to see an uptick in value from year 1 to year 2. But the nice part is that year 1 quarterbacks, they can still be bad and maintain value. Trevor Lawrence fell by 11 spots, yes, but he was still the 22nd overall startup pick prior to his second season in the league. I mean, Zach Wilson was Zach Wilson, and he went from 61st overall in startup cost to 44th overall after his rookie season. Kenny Pickett completely maintained his value last year, and he had a bad rookie campaign. What this tells you is that if you get a quarterback, likely one who has decent draft capital, as long as that quarterback doesn't pull a Bryce Young and have one of the most inefficient rookie seasons ever, you're probably going to have a sell window entering year 2 if you really want it. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think these quarterbacks are able to maintain value this way? I think it's a combination of NFL team investment and fantasy manager desperation. Most of the quarterbacks that I'm talking about today, they're early first-round picks in the NFL draft. Those are the ones that we're really caring about most in our rookie drafts, even in superflex ones. We'll throw darts at non-first-round quarterbacks, but the majority of our sample consists of players who are looked at as good prospects. When teams get a quarterback in round 1, NFL teams, when they snag a quarterback early, they're not going to just let that guy go in year 2. They're going to at least let that player start his second season before they bench him and move on. And fantasy managers know that. Fantasy managers are desperate just for a starter. They just want someone who's going to start games. So they'll gladly pay and often overpay for even a mediocre quarterback. Just think about Kenny Pickett in Dynasty last year. Now, I didn't mind him as a dart throw in redraft, which looks silly in hindsight. But making a strong Dynasty investment was a really tough call given how poor his rookie season was. Same deal with someone like Zach Wilson. You won't always time it right. Sometimes you'll be stuck holding that dead asset on your bench. But it's nice to know that you're going to have a whole lot of time to still sell the initial investment that you made in a rookie quarterback. That you'll likely have at least a little over a year to get value from that player. And that should make you feel more confident in a player like Jaden Daniels. If you have questions about him as a prospect, which is totally valid, it's nice to know that he'll likely have to have a Bryce Young type season in order to lose a lot of his value. But even then, Bryce Young still has 5th to 6th round startup ADP today according to DLF. And that's almost a worst case scenario. And for a guy like Daniels with his rushing ability, his lower end comp is probably more like a Justin Fields. Fields showed a ton of bad signs as a rookie quarterback. He was inaccurate, he took a ton of sacks, but his rushing ability kept him alive enough. And fantasy managers still bought into that after year 1. Fields went from a 23rd overall cost to a 32nd overall one. Quarterbacks in our limited sample really do seem to maintain value, and that should make you feel more confident taking them in your rookie drafts. That's it for today's show, though. Thanks to all of you for listening. If you get subscribed to the Late Round Fantasy Football Podcast, make sure you are by searching for it pretty much anywhere podcasts can be found. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter @LateRoundQB. It's a Late Round Perspectives week. That episode's going to drop Friday morning. I'll talk to you then.